Good afternoon. This is Colton with Build Brothers Roofing, doing a digital roof inspection here for a potential new homeowner out in the Oceanside area. This is actually Vista, but this is a beautiful home. We like to do these inspections, outline the current condition of the roof, and then provide any recommended action. So this is a concrete S-tile roof, very common. It's a terracotta adobe color, and yes, this is the original roof when the home was built in the 80s. This puts this roof closer to 40 years old, and then additionally, the concrete tiles typically last forever. It's the underlayment underneath that needs to be looked at and inspected, and that is the proper way to inspect these types of roofs. And then this roof is also very steeply pitched. It's what we call a 6 and 12, so it sheds water pretty efficiently. And so, you know, the lower the slope of the roof, the less of the lifespan it's expected to have. These roofs we expected, you know, kind of a longer lifespan because of the steepness of the roof. Now, the waterproofing agent on this roof is not the tiles, it's actually the underlayment underneath. The underlayment is the most important part and provides the waterproofing to the wood decking. And you can see these little holes right here at the end of the bird stop. This let water out because water always gets underneath the tile. The tile protects the underlayment system, which is the felt underlayment on this roof. Now, building code requires 2 layers of the 40-pound felt to be used in roofing when roofing with concrete tile. That goes underneath the tile. Now we can see the underlayment right here, and what we're missing actually on the edge of this roof right here is a drip edge metal. So now we have to install a 2-inch drip edge metal that comes down right here. It keeps water off of the wood. When the wood gets wet, then termites can get inside. We do have a, you know, the front of this house right here actually has stuccoed in eaves, so you can't see any of the rafters. You just see the fascia board and the shadow board right there. But we do see some termite damage over in this corner over here. Typically the fascia boards are where the termites get in, you know, first. And then moving along here, we get on top of this roof here, we can see the concrete tile. It's in good shape. There's a couple that have slipped. And this is the felt paper right here. We can see the water staining that's occurring. This is the original felt paper right here. You know, new felt paper looks dark and gritty. This paper is faded, water stains. It is a single layer. We'll confirm that for the video inspection. And then, you know, it's starting to lose its bubbling up in certain areas and whatnot. So getting on the roof now, it's very steep and slippery, so I got to be careful here. But yeah, we can see a good amount of slip tiles occurring right here at this edge. Very common underneath this counterflashing. The mortar kind of gives way, and then the tiles just slip down, as we see, and then water can actually get behind all of this right here. And there's been some repairs, but this is, you know, typically where you start to see leaks occur. The counterflashing itself gets reused. It's attached to a Z-bar in the wall, but the underlayment and everything needs to be reattached up underneath. The wood on the second story looks pretty good. I was looking at it for any termite damage, couldn't really find anything that stood out visually. That's different when, you know, until you start, you know, pounding on it and actually testing it and seeing the raw wood once the roof is taken off. But a single layer of the felt paper on this type of a roof was estimated to last 30 to 35 years. The felt paper itself has a manufacturer warranty of 20 years. 2 layers then gives it, you know, kind of a 40-year. This roof only has 1 layer on it. There was a leak that was in this section right here. You can see the synthetic underlayment that was used. It appears, I don't want to cut into it, but it appears that it was put right over the top of the old underlayment. And this synthetic is usually what's used underneath shingle, asphalt shingle. So very temporary leak patch job right here. And then we get up here, very steep roof. The flashing have all been changed out from mortar to metal, which is great. There's a bunch of satellite dishes on this roof that, you know, can be removed during a roofing project. But the WeatherGuard mortar is all failing. We can see cracking occurring right here. And then your underlayment system right here, severe wear and tear. You know, the dust is kind of turning in, weathering through points right here. And then we can see a single layer of the underlayment right here. You know, underneath you can see the plywood decking right here. Up on that side, there's a couple of these ridge caps that are pretty cracked as well. Skylight's in good condition, we can leave that. The ceiling around all of the penetrations with the flashings is starting to fail. We need to replace all the penetrations and the flashings, and then all new drip edge metal around the roof, replace any damaged wood, upgrade the underlayment system to 2 layers of the 40-pound felt. The professional recommendation is to redo the underlayment on the roof. Now is the time. To do any sort of maintenance work to a roof this age just seems like a waste of money because you know, you get to a point where you have to redo the underlayment. And if you just start patching these problems over time, it just, you know, ends up being a little bit money here just to prolong what, you know, you got to do the project. So it's unethical to recommend anything else. We're going to recommend an underlayment replacement for the original roofing system. Get it back up to code. We can reuse all the tiles. We'll use 2 layers of the 40-pound felt. Some roofs you can use a peel and stick underlayment on. That gets a little bit better product. But the problem is that the new felt paper underlayment is gritty, so it holds the tiles in place. So 2 layers of the 40-pound felt is actually the best roofing system underneath this roof. So we're going to go ahead and measure it out right now and give the options for replacement. Thank you so much.